Hello? Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Hi, Vicki. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I just assigned you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Vicki, it says you stopped my video.
Yeah, I can't do my.
Hold on.
Okay.
You should be able to do it now. Sorry.
No worries.
It's been a long day.
No worries. I hear you. Okay.
My 1 o'clock today was like, I was ready to murder them. They're like, oh, you don't mind staying. Yeah, hello, I do.
Okay. That was, well, there was a little conflict too, because we thought it was a 1 to 2 o'clock job. And then I checked, I was like, oh, it's going to
Yes.
2:30. Like,
Right.
okay, not a problem. And then they kept going.
Yeah.
Like they would have gone to 4 o'clock had we let them.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I was just like, after the hour, I was just like, oh my God, we can finish this now.
So did you just cut them off like completely, or did you just cut the interpreters off? You cut everyone off.
I
She
was
was like,
done.
"We're done."
Everyone?
I
I was wondering that too, honestly.
Jay and I were like, wait a minute, until 3. Like, I got stuff. I gotta get a shower before
Oh,
the
yeah.
evening thing and eat, and I don't want to keep going till 3.
Yeah, I know.
And then all of a sudden it was like clip, and I was okay. I guess.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't listen to me when I told them that they had to stop because I can't. I'm running 2 events, so I can't have 2 events running on with one person. You know.
Yep.
And they were like, "Oh well, Alana, can you do it?" I was like, "Excuse me, Alana doesn't have anything to do with this." You know?
That's right. Yes.
And it was just like, they're like, oh, well, we were told we had till 3 o'clock. No.
No.
And I was like, nope. I said 1 to 2:30. 2:30 being a hard stop. I have to have time to pee.
Yes. Yes. I was starting to, because I had the 3 o'clock session too. So I was starting to get a little nervous myself. I'm like, oh, I have to eat. I have to pee. So when you ended it at 2:45, I was like, oh, good. I don't know what just happened. I think that was Vicki, but thank God. Because I need to
Us too.
Yeah.
I just got annoyed of them keep telling me that they just, that they were going to keep going. And I was like, oh no, I'm sorry, but you can push other people around, but you don't push me around.
Mm-mm. No.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm
Thank
like,
you.
so.
That's funny. Yeah, because I was wondering too, because all of a sudden it just ended. I was like, oh, good. Because I thought we were going till 3 and I was stressing.
Yeah. Hey, Barb.
Hey, Vicki, if we're done, if we happen to be done early, is that okay?
That is fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
Caitlin just texted me saying that she will be on in a second, and we are waiting for Amanda. I texted her as well. So.
No problem.
Rachel,
How is
you wanna
everybody?
start? I'm assuming.
Sure. Yes, I love to start. It's my favorite.
It's your favorite.
I don't know why. I just like that. I don't know.
I used to be like the first person, like, we need someone to start us off in class. I'm like, me. I just want to get it done.
Yeah. I think something about starting helps me get my nerves out. So like if I just do it and then I'm like, okay, now every other time I come on, I'm fine. Get my nerves out the first time.
Okay.
Well, if I had a partner, I would always want to go second because I'm just a procrastinator.
I don't care either way anymore.
Okay. I'll go first.
Whatever. Still 15 still?
That's perfect.
All right, honey. I'm going to go down.
Thank you.
All right, ladies. So the interpreters, they will go on and off by themselves. You will see if it will it'll be everybody's picture here, and Rachel is here at the moment. And what will happen is when the time is getting close for them to switch over, you will see Mimi's box pop up. They'll give themselves a signal, and then Rachel will turn her camera off.
Okay. Hey, Vicki, am I allowed
Yes.
to can I do a screen share by chance?
Yes.
How do I go about doing that?
At the
Share.
bottom of your screen,
Okay. All right.
does it have any sound?
No, because I'm just going to show pictures probably from last year's event and have them, you know, kind of talk about it and their experience and stuff. So,
Okay, so what's going to happen is when you share your video, when you share your screen, okay, you won't see anything but your share screen.
okay.
Okay. Everybody else, what's going to happen is they're going to see the presentation, and then I can leave everybody in the gallery, but I spotlight the interpreter so that when we're on Facebook, that is who shows up.
Okay.
Because I think, I think we'll get a lot of really great chatter back and forth on Facebook tonight.
Yeah, let me know once you share it, because then I'll share it to the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania page and across everything there
Okay.
as we go. So,
Yeah, last week's, like, the ones that I did, we had like, it was like over 600 minutes had already been looked at. Not what we actually put out, but people who have come on and actually looked at it. So those are
That's
big
awesome.
numbers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very excited.
So ladies, I think what we're gonna do, I'll be the moderator, if you will, and we can go through and introduce everyone and who we are and our positions and stuff. We'll start with me, Kristen, Claire, and then we'll go ahead and introduce the ambassadors, and then we're gonna go to Karli, and then Karli can introduce herself as the title holder, and she can go on about, this crazy year of being a title holder during COVID-19 and whatnot. And she can talk about her platform some, and then I'll just go ahead and call on each of the ambassadors to talk about, your year and your platforms. It's going to be super informal, guys, just no high pressure here, nothing crazy, it's all fun. We all are friends, and all that jazz. So, and, randomly I'll just like call on Kristen or Claire to talk about their experience or their input, just like I said, it's going to be informal. And then, like I said, I have the screen share feature. I can show pictures that I actually never really publicly posted Alex's pictures to the public. So that is something that they could, now see and stuff if I, screen share and stuff if we get to that point. But it's just, hanging out more or less, and then talking about why we're not a pageant and all that stuff, just, as we go. So don't get
Sorry, I came in late, obviously. Hi, everybody. But so you're going to be doing the presentation, and the interpreter will be spotlighted and whoever's talking. Is that what you said, Vicki?
No, what will happen is if she is sharing her screen, then the only person, I spotlight the interpreter so that they are seen on Facebook.
Yep.
Because if I don't, only the person who's speaking goes up there, and then it's not accessible for everybody else.
Yep. Gotcha. Okay.
And yeah, we're waiting on Kate. Let me text her one more time. Leave it to her to be late. Oh, there she is. There she is. I don't need to text you, Kate.
I'm going to get to where I am here.
And then let's see.
My preview. Turn on my auto captions. Stop it.
There you are.
We get rid of get rid of my face here.
Oh, we want you.
No,
We
no.
want you. Now, ladies, I'm going to, like, when I'm not talking and stuff, I'm going to mute my line, and then, you know, you guys mute your lines too, because then there'll be interference, you know, so whoever we're talking to, you know, go ahead. And also that'll probably be easier for the interpreters as well, that we're not talking all over, you know, each other. So,
Right.
And make sure you unmute yourself before you start talking.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also remember that you'll have people in the chat that might have questions.
Okay.
You want me to moderate that, Barb?
Yeah, if you would like. Also, you're on our Facebook page, right, Claire?
Yeah, wait, will the comments be coming through on Facebook or on Zoom?
Both,
Facebook, right?
probably both.
Do you think if I have the Facebook open, though, there will be the feedback from both?
I don't know. I'm using my phone.
Okay, maybe I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just turn your volume down on your phone, and then you won't get feedback. That's what I do just to start these.
Yes,
Okay.
like get on the Disability Pride Philadelphia's when she goes and shares it onto there, and then share it to the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania page, and then, you know, people's questions as they come in and whatnot. Or I can share it from there, you know, whatever works. I don't care.
Well, if you're talking, I can share it. And then, yeah, if you're talking and moderating, I'll share it. And then I will, and because you can see if I type in the chat in Zoom though, Barb, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I can do that. Okay.
And
So I'll like
just wanna
type the
make
chat to you
sure-
instead of interrupt.
Yeah, just make sure that whoever, if you guys want to stay on screen, because we're about to get started in about 30 seconds. Okay?
Okay.
Go away.
And I'm getting text messages from friends. I'm going to address them. Yeah, you guys aren't on the actual Zoom call. You're watching this live webinar. So you guys are confused here.
Yes, and you'll also, if anybody asks right now, they are going to start seeing us chatter in just a second.
Barb, make sure you have your phone in case I text you.
Yeah, I have it, and I have an iPad too, so I should be good here.
Okay, live stream is on Facebook, so we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania's with partnership of Disability Pride's event called We Are Not a Pageant. This webinar is pretty much going to talk about what the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania program is with the ladies that are involved with the program, and just talk about, you know, who they are as people and what they're passionate about and what they're doing. So we are going to start. I'll introduce myself. I am the president of Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania and the state coordinator, Barb Zablotney. I also am the former Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania 2018. I was crowned by Claire Sanita, who's also on the call, but I'm going to introduce my vice president next.
Hello, my name is Kristen Rebstock. I am the Vice President of the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania organization. I am also the current Ambassador Coordinator, and you'll get to talk to these lovely ladies here in a moment. I am the 2010 Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania title holder as well.
Thanks, Kristen. And then I will introduce my predecessor.
My name is Claire Sanita, and like Barb said, I was Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania 2017, and I also help run the Junior Miss program, which I'm sure Barb and we can all talk a little bit about later. So.
All right, and next we're going to introduce our ambassadors. Ladies, I will just call you by name and then go ahead and talk about, you know, your name, your platform, all that stuff. So go ahead, Megan, I see that you're unmuted. We'll start with you.
Hi, my name is Megan Patrick. I'm one of the ambassadors for the Miss Wheelchair program. And my platform is employment and getting those with disabilities more in the workforce.
Thanks, Megan. Next will be Jessica. You need to, there you go.
My name is Jessica Gardner, and my platform is working to eliminate service dog fraud through education, awareness, and working with legislators.
Thanks, Jessica. And next is Caitlin.
I am Caitlin Chazar. I am an ambassador for the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania program, and my platform is promoting the disability rights movement and advancing the independent living movement.
Thanks, Caitlin. And last but not least of the ambassadors is Amanda.
Hello, I'm Amanda Yergolitis, and I am a ambassador for Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania, and my platform is using my art and creativity to raise awareness for acceptance and accessibility in locations.
Thanks, Amanda. Next, we are going to introduce everyone to our current title holder, Karli, and I will let her take the stage for a while and talk about, you know, her platform, her year, anything she wants to. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Karli Miller. I'm the current Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania title holder for 2020. And if you hear barking, that's my golden retriever puppy. He is very excited to be on the Zoom call, so he will be very loud probably. I guess what's interesting about being a title holder this year is obviously the coronavirus has changed the way a lot of my events have been handled. A lot of things have become virtual, and things have changed definitely in the past like 3 months. I went from doing a lot of in-person events and socialization and activism to doing everything almost virtually. But I just found out that my local Miracle League is opening back up for gameplay, so I hopefully will be able to get back out there and have fun at the local Miracle League baseball game as a representative of the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania program. My platform also is body positivity, inclusive body positivity for people with disabilities, because folks with disabilities are often left out of movements that surround beauty and beauty standards, and body positivity encourages people to love all aspects of their body, really no matter their situation. So whether they're a wheelchair user or have a feeding tube or wear hearing aids, to love those aspects of their body in addition to what, you know, society tells us is good to like about ourselves.
Sorry, someone tried to call in the middle of all this. So, Karli, would you like to talk more about some of the events that maybe you did get to do before the COVID-19, you know, pandemic hit?
Sure. So one of, obviously we did the major like conference and competition in October, and it was a really great bonding experience. I got to meet all the lovely people on this call, the ambassadors and Claire and Kristen, and have a great time learning more about like what it is to be independent as a wheelchair user, because I'm a relatively new wheelchair user within the past few years. And some other events that I did, for example, would be I went to a local high school in-service day, and I spoke about my platform. The theme of the day, it was on Valentine's Day, was love yourself and love others, love your neighbor. So I talked about like self-love and how people can encourage their students to engage in practices of like body positivity and self-positivity and things like that. I also did a story time for young children at my local JCC, the Jewish Community Center, and that was called Celebrate Your Differences. And we talked about a book called The Only One Club, in which the little child in the story is like the only one in their class who's Jewish. And so we talked about what it's like to be the only one who's different. So for example, I was the only person that happened to be in a wheelchair at this event. I was also the only person who was Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania for this year. And then a little girl, talked about her cousin in a wheelchair and, what it's like to be the only one in her class wearing hearing aids and things like that. I also did a pet expo where I did community outreach and got to meet a really awesome therapy bunny, which was really fun. And I have done events with Disability Pride Philadelphia, such as the MLK Volunteer Service Day, where we packed up like soaps and toothpaste, personal items for those folks experiencing homelessness in the Philadelphia area.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Karli. So I think what I'm going to do is, how about I hand it off to the ambassador coordinator for her to really describe what the ambassador program is about, and then I will go into what being a title holder and stuff is about and kind of explain things a little bit more now that you got to meet some of the ladies behind the program. So go ahead, Kristen.
Thanks, Barb. What the ambassador program is that this is the first year. It's our pioneer venture, so to speak. And what it is a title holder and training program. What we found is that the women that are competing have a lot of knowledge, passion, and motivation about their platforms that are equally important to people with disabilities across the Commonwealth. So this gives them the opportunity to share those platforms through informing, educating, and advocating. So as you heard at the beginning of our webinar, each woman chooses a platform that they are passionate about, and then they have the opportunity to educate and inform through appearances, through speaking engagements, things of that nature. We also have monthly learning webinars through Zoom where I typically pick a topic with their input that I feel is important for a future title holder to have. Examples of those have been anything from fundraising to public speaking to tips and tricks on how to interact with your legislator and perhaps get legislation passed. One thing that we did in May that was huge for us as an organization is we had a Zoom call with Judy Human. You might be familiar with her from both her novel and also from Crip Camp, which is currently streaming on Netflix. And why it was so wonderful for all of us is that it was someone that was on the front lines of the disability movement prior to the ADA, and she and her colleagues and friends were instrumental in getting the legislation passed for 504 and also for the ADA. So hearing her experiences, hearing what worked and what didn't was very informative and seemed to spark the ambassadors and Karli with a lot of ideas of how they would like to move forward in their advocacy journey. We started out with just 4 ambassadors for our first year. However, since we are not having a standard conference and competition due to COVID-19 and the restrictions on public gathering, we are accepting applications for the 2020-2021 year. We're hoping to make those applications available later in July, which I know we're right dead in the center of July, but they'll be coming available shortly. So please follow our Facebook page, and our website is now live and available as well. And there will be an application there, and I look forward to working with all of you. So if you are new to an advocacy journey, or maybe you have been an advocate but you would like to gain more skill or be able to network within the statewide disability community, I certainly welcome you aboard. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to any of us. And I apologize, my upstairs neighbor just banged on the ceiling, so that's why my dog barked. But I'll pass it back over to you, Barb.
Thank you, Kristen. So, she went into the details a little bit. What I probably should have talked about first. Thankfully, she's on top of that. So we will be having the applications out soon. So Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania organization is a nonprofit 501c3 organization. We're based on advocacy, education, and achievement. We are not a beauty pageant, contrary to popular belief. We are not a beauty pageant. No one here is judged based off of looks or how you're dressed or talents or anything. You're judged based on how well you articulate your message. And so that is pretty much what being Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania is about and what we stand for. Whenever I recently took over the state program, as Kristen mentioned, we realized that, all these women who compete, they are maybe left feeling like they weren't good enough or whatever. And we realized that that's not the case at all. There's sadly only one winner. But we also recognize that for whatever reason, when you have a sash on or, and a crown, that people listen to you, and we don't understand the phenomenon, but it is a phenomenon. And for whatever reason, I'm sure the ambassadors can also tell you, when that sash is on, people are engaging and asking questions. And that's why we wear the sash and crown, is to attract people to come and approach you and either ask, what's the sash about? And it gives you a way to talk about the program and to then educate them about your platform and what you're passionate about and the difference you want to make within the disability community. Because, a lot of people don't know what they don't know. And so we are there as educators to help educate them. And like I said, it works. I don't know why. I was saying the same thing for years and years and years, and no one listened until I had a sash and crown on. And then people took me seriously all of a sudden, and I was very confused why. But at that point, I was like, this is brilliant. Every woman needs to do this because, they have such important messages to get out. And each one of these ladies on this call all have amazing hearts and messages that need to be heard. And so that is the whole purpose of our organization, is to give that platform to women within the state of Pennsylvania who are full-time wheelchair users, to advocate for people with disabilities as a whole. Yes, we are Ms. Wheelchair, but we also are more than willing to learn and educate about other disabilities as well. I know I didn't really know much about any other disability than my own until I got involved in this community. And then I realized and learned so much, and I was like, whoa, I never thought about it. And that's what's so awesome is, it opens the doors up to networking with other people who have different experiences than myself. So it has been an amazing tool. And I think every woman on this call can vouch for that. And so that's basically the background of Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania. So this year we are going to be introducing the Junior Ambassador Program. So I'm going to hand it off to Claire, as this is her thing. It's still in the works and we're trying to figure it out, but I think we got a firm grip of it right now. So.
Yeah, so like Barb said, we are still in the works of it. So if after hearing about it, you have some thoughts and ideas, go ahead and put them down in the chat and we would love to take them into consideration. But as of right now, so the Junior Ambassador Program will kind of mimic the Adult Ambassador Program. And this is really so just to create a bond and introduce younger people into the world of advocacy, right? And Karli was saying too, just like about being accepted by other people. And I think that all the girls can say the same thing, that it's very comforting to see someone else who looks like you and who gets around the way that you do and faces similar problems that you do. And then like, it's a special type of bond. And I think that a lot of people in the disability community can agree with that, that like your friends with disabilities, you have a different bond with them because of your disability. So, and for a lot of young people too, they may not know someone else with a disability. So that's why we are starting the Junior Ambassador Program, to create the sisterhood at a young age and to create advocates at a young age too, because especially, so it will be from 16 to 20. And like, that's a weird age anyway, right? And then like you add in a wheelchair and you're like, okay, now this is super weird. So it's just really to start like the self-confidence in teaching people how to be advocates for themselves and go forward, so that we're starting young to create advocates as they grow older. So.
Thanks, Claire. And as she mentioned, if you guys have any suggestions, comments, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them down into the chat. If you're watching us live on Zoom, or if you're watching us on Facebook, go ahead and comment there. We would love to take all your questions and comments and anything that you may have. We're open to suggestions, as we are kind of under new leadership and trying to figure out what is best to do. And
Lester said sisterhood is amazing, which is so funny because I don't know about you guys, but whenever I first joined the program, or whenever I first was competing and they're like sisterhood, I was like, that's so corny, like sisterhood of the traveling pants or something, like just like, I don't know, it's not like, it was weird. But then you go and you meet these people and you're like, wait a second, I really like you, and like we're on the same page. And how Barb said too, like you meet someone else with a different type of disability and you learn about what they go through. And then, or like one of my friends in Iowa that I still talk to, I'm like, what's up in Iowa? Like, what's happening in Iowa? And then I'm like, well, here's what's happening in Pennsylvania. And you go back and forth and you know things that they don't know and vice versa. And it just becomes, it creates this really special bond. And it sounds silly to say sisterhood, but it is.
Claire was there when I was crowned, and you know, she kept telling me that, and I remember thinking, that's so hokey and cheesy. Like, I don't want to be in a room full of a bunch of girls in chairs, and I'm sure there's going to be so much drama and cat fights and who knows what, you know. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't think I was actually going to win, and I don't know what I thought I was doing, but here I am. But you know, that was the craziest thing, was that like I go and I meet other women on wheels and I'm like, oh wow, I do like you. This isn't crazy. Whoa, what's happening? And I'm like, this is a whole crazy, you know, a whole crazy different atmosphere that I never knew, because I was secluded in rural Pennsylvania for a decade on my own, you know, and so I didn't know this whole other world. And
Barb, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you admit that like you weren't really like fully involved in the disability community before all of this, and like maybe there's people watching right now who they're like, they just hopped onto the live real quick and are like, all right, let's see what this is about. Like, what made you want to get involved, and like what has been the biggest like thing that you've taken away? I know the relationships, but like what finally made you say like, I'm gonna try this?
So I honestly went into it so ignorantly. I'm not gonna lie, it was super ignorant. I was like, yeah, sure. It's not like I'll win. Maybe I'll meet someone. Maybe I'll make a friend. You know, like I knew that I wasn't like all that in a bag of chips. So I was like, yeah, no. And so obviously, you know, I rolled into my event where I was crowned, and you know, by you. And I still didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I just remember, you know, making a promise to myself that I was going to give it, you know, 120% and be open to learning and just do the most that I can with the 10 months that I had. And so, you know, I really think the turning point was when I realized, you know, that what I'm saying is right. And I noticed with all the ambassadors, that's kind of, you know, where their light bulb kind of turns on a little bit, because I feel like, you know, when you're on your own for so long, you know what you're feeling, but you feel like maybe you're feeling something that like isn't right, or what you're saying isn't true. And then you talk to all these other people and they're experiencing the same feelings, and you're like, oh, I guess what I'm saying is right, and is affecting other people than just myself, and I'm not overreacting. And, you know, it honestly, this program gave me my passion and purpose that I didn't have for, you know, over a decade. And so I honestly, you know, I can't describe, you know, what I thought going into it. All I knew was that I was about to be on a very crazy journey that I didn't realize. And all the women on this call mean so much to me. And that's probably the best thing that I gained, was honestly, now I can pick up the phone and I can call someone somewhere that gets it at any time, pretty much day or night, that, you know, if I'm having a bad day, they now, you know, I have someone to lean on and that gets it, you know. I mean, you and me, Claire, have hung out in your rooms many times talking about, you know, very personal girl issues, you know, that I never had before when it came to this. And to be able to reach out to someone that gets it. I mean, we're all women here, you know, we all deal with different things, and to be able to have that kind of sisterhood and bond is very empowering. And, you know, the number one thing is I try to tell everyone to empower one another and uplift one another. And, you know, everyone's, you know, accomplishments, big or small, are still an amazing stride forward for personal development. You know, it's not always, a lot of times when you're when you're on the path, you don't really realize what you're collecting along the way on this path. But then it's when you look back that you realize, like, holy crap, I collected a lot and I've learned a lot, and my mind is like so different than it was even 6 months ago. And I think that is the biggest thing that I've gained from this organization and this program and this sisterhood. And it is an honor and a privilege of a lifetime to serve as the president and state coordinator of this program. And I try my best to be the best role model I can be, but I'm not perfect. So,
well, that's a good question for everybody else too. Like, what inspired you to want to compete, and were you scared, and what were you thinking? But while you're thinking about that, there's two questions. Madeline, you asked a question, you said, what would? I don't know if you finished that. And then Kala, I think maybe you know, Barb, you said, I love the strength that sisterhood gave you. And that's really what I think is awesome. Okay, Madeline, I see your comment. Is that there's really strength in numbers, like what Barb said, and the validation that, like, hey, what you're feeling is a real thing, and I feel it all the time. So Madeline said, is there someone that wants to answer we'll get you in a second, Madeline. Oh, wait, there's so many questions. Should we do the questions?
Yeah. So how about we'll take Madeline's, and then I'll go on to Karli and ask why she participated, and we'll go that way. How's that?
Okay, yeah. And I'm going to butcher your name. I'm so sorry. Kiana, it says, in order to compete for Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania, do you have to be a full-time wheelchair user? I use a wheelchair part-time, and I was under the impression that I would not qualify. Yeah, so it is a full-time wheelchair user.
Well, so it's full-time wheelchair user in public, okay? And so a lot of women on this call actually didn't think that they were eligible because of that, but they do use the chair full-time in public. And, you know, if you need to, you know, ambulate around your home and stuff, you know, that's okay. Most everyone, you know, they can still ambulate around not everyone, but, you know, they ambulate around their home, and that's, you know, fine. But when you're out in public, you do have to be a full-time wheelchair user in public, because you are Ms. Wheelchair. And I guess if they saw you like running a marathon or whatever, they'd be like, well, wait a minute, you know. So that is what is why it is a role that national set forth.
Madeline asked a really, and I'm sorry, Madeline, I'm not good at this. I shouldn't be in charge, but she said, how would any of you respond to someone who said that the pageant is inspiration porn? That's a really good question.
All right, how about we go to Karli with that?
I would say that number one, inspiration porn gets me every time. If I see it, I either send it to Barb or I send it to one of my other friends who is a member of the disability community, and I'm like, look at this. But I would say that this pageant is more about awareness and advocacy. Like, so for me, I come from the chronic illness side of disability. Like, I wasn't born with my condition. I didn't have an injury that led to my wheelchair use. So this community space for me was more about building my awareness, learning more things about other people and how to do things from a wheelchair, and less about being like a figurehead for the disability community, because there is not one person in any community that can speak for the whole community. So I would hope that people don't view me as like an inspirational figurehead for the group, because I don't see myself as that way. I see myself as someone who's lucky enough to represent the community in the way that I have, and not in an inspiration porny way at all.
Also, when we're talking about it, let's not use pageant, competition, and conference, because they asked, is the pageant inspiration porn? So I just want to, we do say competition, just to put it out there for all the people asking questions and stuff. How about we go to Jessica about what your thoughts are on the competition being seen as inspiration porn? You need to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. I don't see it as inspiration porn. I see it as empowering young women to get their platforms across, and it's just, it gives you a voice that you've never had before, and people listen to you and you get heard, and that's the amazing thing that comes from Miss Wheelchair PA.
Thanks, Jessica. How about Megan? What are your thoughts on it?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. When I got into it, I didn't think of it that way at all. I thought of it as like, I have things that I want to say. I want people to, be aware of these things that are going on. And it's not, I don't, like Karli said, I don't view it as inspiration porn at all.
Thank you, Megan. Caitlin?
I'm muted.
Kate,
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Oh, sure.
The question, and you guys are obviously killing it, but it was how would you respond to someone who said that it was inspiration porn, or like, how do you differentiate? You're like, no, this is really not what we're doing. And you guys, both of you touched on that, but yeah, I just wanted to clarify that with Madeline.
Well, I think if it was a pageant, I think it would actually be more inspiration porn, because it would kind of be like a show and a prize and based on looks. But since it's based on advocacy and advancing a platform related to the disability community, I don't see it as inspiration porn. I find it inspiring being a part of this program, because it's teaching people different issues that the disability community faces, and it's inspiring us to be somebody who creates change in our community using our platform. So to me, to answer the question earlier about why I got into Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania, at first I did think it was a pageant, and I was an athlete growing up, and so the idea of entering a pageant was kind of not really something I saw myself doing. But once I learned more about the program, I learned that it had the advocacy side to it, and that it was something that you could use to improve the lives of people with disabilities. And that's kind of what really brought me in, because I saw that what I could do with this platform and with this program. And that's kind of why I got into it.
Thank you, Caitlin. Amanda, did you want to say your thoughts on it as well?
Yeah, I will admit I'm like relatively new within the last 4 years of the disability community. So the idea for the longest time of inspiration porn was so confusing to me. But my opinion on the whole concept is if Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania inspires you to actually do something and make a difference, then it's not a useless inspiration porn. It's actually having a purpose. So that's kind of what I think. And again, I'm still figuring things out, but hope that explained how I feel about it.
Thanks, Amanda. Go ahead, Claire. Did you want to take the next question? You're muted.
That was it.
Oh, okay. So I think I see Vicky. How can Disability Pride partner with your organization to help spread the word? So I'm going to go into how Disability Pride and, you know, I kind of started networking. So during my reign, I was trying to find, you know, women to compete. Kate was one of them I reached out to. And I was having a very hard time because of me not being involved with the community, you know, like, I didn't go to disability events. I didn't do, like, I would go to a Comic-Con, but I wouldn't go to a disability event, you know? And I just, you know, honestly, I now looking back, I feel like I was a ableist wheelchair user, because I just was like, oh, I don't want to be around, you know, people with disabilities. Like, and I just think I had a hard time accepting that for myself. And so it kind of translated. So, you know, getting this platform really gave me pride when I started meeting so many people. And, you know, that's another thing. I hate telling people that, oh, you inspired me, but like, all the women on this call have inspired me to some degree to just become a better version of myself. And so I reached out to Vicky, not knowing Vicky, in Disability Pride Philadelphia, and said, hey, we're looking for girls and women to compete. And she put a message out there. And it was after that, you know, her and I started to go to all these events together and get to know each other and stuff. And, you know, we have a really amazing partnership, and Vicky has now become part of our Disability Pride. She's not a board member, but she's an advisor. And so if any one of these ladies on this call would like to do a Disability Pride event in their region, or, you know, anyone watching who wants to become an ambassador, if you wanted to do that, Vicky is there to assist you. She is there to help give you the tools and stuff, because the goal is to bring Disability Pride throughout all of Pennsylvania. So that is our partnership with Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania, and we are very proud of that partnership with her. And I hope that everyone, you know, on this call, you know, knows that, you know, having a disability is not something we should be ashamed of, and it's something we should be proud of and we should celebrate. And that is the whole purpose of this amazing platform and this amazing event that Vicky is doing. And I just want to thank Vicky for all the hard work she does for our community and for partnering with us. So thank you. Anyone else wants to say thank you? Let's see. All right.
Karli,
So,
did you have something to say?
Yes, I just didn't know how to interrupt. So I raised my hand. I just wanted to say that, like I said, I'm a relatively new wheelchair user. I've been using a chair. I was using a chair part-time in 2017. And then as the years have gone by, I've become a full-time wheelchair user. And Disability Pride, like the actual physical event in Philadelphia, I still hadn't received my custom chair. I've been waiting like an exorbitant amount of time. And I just felt like so welcomed, regardless of like not feeling like a legitimate wheelchair user, because I didn't have like custom equipment, and we were still, you know, tripping over curb cuts and like bumping into people with this huge transport chair. And the space was just so welcoming, and everybody was so willing to like give me tips and tricks about like getting in touch with my insurance and how to make sure I got the right equipment that I needed. That like that physical aspect of disability pride was really an important step in my like journey as a person with a disability.
Exactly. And I think, you know, if you ever need any type of resources, anyone watching this, actually, not just the people, you know, part of this webinar, anyone watching this, you do not ever hesitate to reach out to Vicki with Disability Pride, and her team, her board and her team are just so incredible, and they are so full of so much knowledge. I learn so much every time I talk to her, and, you know, I know she has an incredible board that is also super knowledgeable about things. Like, you know, anything you need, any resources, she probably knows, or at least knows the person to direct you there. So
that's what I was gonna say. Every time I speak to Vicki, I just learn like 10 new things.
Exactly.
So she's awesome.
It's really incredible. So we're going to go into the next segment here. We are going to go into talking about the ambassadors' favorite part and what would they recommend as their takeaway so far from the program. So I'm just going to go in order that I see y'all on my screen here. I'm going to start with Jessica. Jessica, what has been your favorite part of being an ambassador, and what would you recommend as your takeaway, or, you know, what would you recommend to people who might be interested, or, you know, whatever? You have to unmute yourself.
There are so many parts of the ambassador program that I love. It opened up my life in an amazing way. But I have to pick one. I have to go with the community, the sisterhood, the bonds that we share, because, you know, at the end of the day, being a part of, you know, the disability community, even though I've had a disability all my life, I never was part of the community. So that is my biggest takeaway from that. What was the second question?
If there's anyone watching this currently that might be interested and may not think it's for them, or they're unsure, you know, what's your advice?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So Barb pretty much had to twist my arm to participate. So if you have a sliver of wanting to be involved in this program, do it, because what do you have to lose? I was unsure myself because I'm an introvert. Public speaking is not my forte, but I love it. Like it changed my life in so many ways. It's opened up so many networks. Before I was in this program, I did not know what the Center for Independent Living was, or the United Spinal, and now I know all of that, and it just keeps growing, and opportunities just keep coming. Please, if you want to be involved in any way, try it, because what do you have to lose?
Yes, and if anyone is interested, you know, as Kristen said, we are going to be having applications available probably in the next week on Facebook. We will post the applications for the ambassador program, and we are also probably going to put it onto our website as well, and so you can find that there. Everything can be found onto the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania Facebook page. That's kind of where we post all of the latest news and what's going on. We post Karli's weekly updates. We post the ambassadors updates of what they're doing. We kind of give them the platform to kind of do that. So the ambassador applications will be available soon. And, you know, this year, because we aren't having a physical event, you know, we're going to do some kind of virtual event. We're still trying to figure out all the details and stuff, but you know, you will be not required to come anywhere. You know, you can be at your home and still do this safely, you know, and you can still be an ambassador virtually. There's actually, Jessica can say that there's actually been more opportunities because she has the barrier of transportation. And when we live in rural Pennsylvania, transportation is a huge barrier here. And so, you know, she has actually had more opportunities as a result of this atmosphere. And so Even with COVID-19 pandemic happening, don't think, oh, it's pointless. Oh, it's not, because you are still going to bond with all the women probably here on this call. They're all going to be around, and there's going to be new women coming in, and you're going to create friendships that last a lifetime and learn so much along the way. And so I think that is important to remember. The next one on the screen is Megan. So Megan, what has been your favorite part of being an ambassador so far, and how did you get involved, and what would you recommend if someone is not sure if they want to do it and whatnot? Don't forget to mute yourself or unmute yourself. There you go.
So I'd say that my favorite part of getting involved in this program is getting to meet all the ladies and realizing that the stuff that we're advocating for really truly matters. Like it's not just one person that has these thoughts. Like we've all bonded over these similar issues. So that's been awesome to kind of realize that it's not just one person. I would say to somebody who wants to be a part of the program, like Jess said, just do it. Like when I was going to do it, I thought, I don't know about this. Like Kristen can attest to the fact that I enjoy being a pretty private person. But I would just say, just get out of your comfort zone and just do it. Like as far as advocacy goes, it's really truly just about putting yourself out there and just seeing and looking for things that can change and being like, oh, I can change that. So if you see things in your community that you want to change, this is the place to do it.
Thank you, Megan. And Amanda, I will go ahead and call on you next.
I'm pretty much gonna reiterate what everybody else said. Actually, my mom and I were just laughing today in the car, Barb, and I told her that I'm pretty sure this was just your big scheme to kidnap 5 sisters for yourself and just like, they're yours now. We showed up to be a competition, and then here we're adopted by Barb. And honestly, it's just the community has been incredible because I've battled with myself and my mental health over my physical health. And knowing that I'm not alone in that. And if I need a shoulder to cry on, like right now it might be virtual because of coronavirus, but I still have that shoulder. And again, Barb had to twist my arm to do it. So what convinced me to do it was my family was like, do it. And I basically refused. And then I kept running into Barb everywhere I went. And it was sort of just like everything was pointing me in that direction. So if you even so much want to take this as a sign that you need to get involved, absolutely do it, because we can't wait to have you.
Thank you, Amanda. And someone just asked, will the general public be open to watch virtual event? Yes, we will. Once we have it worked out, we're still trying to figure out the logistics. It's not till October, but come October, I'm sure Vicki will be able to share information. And again, follow our Facebook page. That's where you're going to learn everything that you can about the current, what's going on. Go ahead, Caitlin, if you would like to answer that question too and give your perspective.
So what are my favorite parts?
Yeah, so what has been your favorite part of this whole experience as an ambassador, and what would you recommend to anyone that might be on the fence and not sure if this is for them or not?
So, I mean, pre-COVID, I really just enjoyed going to different events, and I was kind of nervous to wear my sash at first, but I started to really embrace it, and it did invite people to talk to me that I probably wouldn't have talked to otherwise. And I really have to say I really enjoy the workshops that we've been doing. I mean, that was something that I didn't necessarily know I would get out of this program. They're pretty much monthly, so there's always something to look forward to. And one of my favorite things that I've ever done with this program is being able to talk to Judy Human. Like, I never thought I'd ever get the chance to talk to her on a video call. So that was really cool. And I got to ask her a couple questions. So that was amazing. And what are the big takeaways? I would just say I didn't ever expect that I'd be involved in a program like this. But I did it, and I was super, super nervous. But I think that I've come a long way from the competition, and I've grown a lot. I've gained a lot of skills like public speaking that I never knew how terrified I was of that until I started this. But it's helped me improve my, articulation and just being able to represent an organization that's not just yourself. That's a big opportunity. And I'm just really thankful that I'm involved, because it's opened a lot of doors for me, a lot of opportunities. And I just want to continue to grow. So this was a great opportunity for me to get on my journey for advocacy.
Thanks, Kate. Karli, what would you say to anyone who is on the fence about doing this or not?
I would say that I really like what Jess said about, like, what do you have to lose? I always tell my friends that when they want to do something, like, say it's like ask someone out on a date, I'm like, well, the worst thing someone could say to you is no. And like, if the worst thing that could happen to you if you don't become the title holder of Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania is that you get to join a really awesome ambassador program, like, you're really, it's a win-win situation. You're either a title holder or you're ambassador, and you're having a great time either way. And then having a platform that encourages me to speak to people that have either different viewpoints or different life experiences than myself is probably one of my favorite parts, because I tend to congregate with people that are like-minded to myself, but this has really been an eye-opening experience about, not only disability advocacy, but other types of advocacy as well. And then I just wanted to speak to, like, how I got involved with the program. Because it's such a funny story. But I was at the Abilities Expo in my big hunkin' transport chair, and I saw Barb with her rainbow wheelchair, and I was like, ooh, I want that. My wheelchair was already, like, in the process of being made, so there was no way I was getting a rainbow one. But I, like, rolled up to Barb, and we were chatting, and then, X amount of months later, I was like, maybe I'll go watch the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania pageant. So I messaged Barb, and I was like, oh, is it open to the public to watch? And Barb was like, I'm signing you up. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, quiet. But yeah, apparently he has a lot to say too, so I'm going to mute myself.
Thanks, Karli. Hey, Claire, how about you talk about, like, your journey as a title holder, and then what you gained from it all those years ago, and what you still continue to gain from it, and what would you recommend to someone?
All those years ago, Barb, was only 3 years ago. Come on. No, just kidding. It does, because I was trying to think, as like everyone was talking about their events, I was like, what were some of my favorite events? And to my left, I have like a box full of newspaper articles and my crown and sash and just different things from different events that I've done. I was like, I have a terrible memory. But speaking of terrible memory, what was the first part of the question?
So, what did you gain during that year that you were a title holder? What were your favorite events, and what are you still gaining from being part of the program, and the people that are on the fence not sure?
Yeah, so what I gained really during my year as a title holder was just so much experience in interacting with other people. So for those of you that, I don't think that we really talked about this. So going to nationals, and it's such a bummer because this year is different. With COVID-19, the Miss Wheelchair America, they had to cancel their national Miss Wheelchair America 2021. But what normally happens is you have to fundraise money to go to nationals. So something that I had really learned, and I was able to take these skills and transfer them into my my personal life, and then use my personal life skills to transfer into my Miss Wheelchair title. But really was like fundraising, interacting with people that I don't normally, and I talk a lot, but I'm relatively, it's very uncomfortable to ask people for things. And I think that a lot of people know that. And especially like as a wheelchair user, someone with a disability, like so much of your life, you feel like you are already asking. So then to be like, hey, can you give me money? Like becoming confident in that and confident in myself, like, hey, I do need money and here's why it's important. Like listen to like what I'm telling you, this is like really important, and then your support. So I think that really like gaining confidence and building relationships with people across the state, and just businesses, and learning how to properly convey my message to different types of people. So there are different times when I was talking to little kids who were like, so you can't walk, huh? And I'm like, yep, like you're right, like I can't walk, I broke my neck. And then like ask questions like that to going into up to the CEO of some major company and saying, hi, like here's who I am, here's what I'm doing, and here's how you can help me. So just learning how to like speak to a wide array of people, I think really was the biggest thing that I gained from that, and learning really just so much about myself, as all the other ladies have said too. You don't know what you don't know until you do it, and then you figure out how to do it, kind of. So that's really what I gained from my year up until I went to nationals. And then I went to nationals, and Pennsylvania hosted it that year. And there were, I think, 35 other women from across the country that came. And like I said before, they're like, it's a sisterhood. And I was like, all right, like, that's like kind of corny, but excuse me. So I went in kind of just like hesitant. And like Barb said too, it's the same thing. Like you put a group of women together and there's just going to be like drama. You put a group of anybody together, there's always going to be drama. There's always going to be something. So I was really nervous, but I really found just something in common with everybody there, and like not disability related, but more so like advocacy related, or them on like a personal level. And that really was my biggest takeaway too, I think, which I know we keep saying, like the relationships that we've built, but that really is what this is all about. And that's what advocacy is all about, is building relationships and learning about other people, learning someone else's perspective. Because for so long you're like, I have had this one perspective, and then I meet you and I'm like, wait a second, like that's why we need grab bars or something. I don't know, like something that I don't need as an accessible thing. And in my head, I don't see it as something that we need. But then I have a friend where I'm like, oh, wait, you're why we need it. Like, and then I'm like, okay, like, woo, we need it, like all on board for it. But so yeah, what was the rest of the question?
And anyone who is sitting on the fence and not sure if they want to be involved or not, what would your suggestions be to them?
So I think that really just to do your research, honestly, there's so much on the Facebook page and on the website and on the ambassador pages and people's personal pages just about what they've done. You are more than welcome to talk to any of us too. If you're like, I don't want to dive into this yet, like, I don't know what I'm like signing up for. This seems like a lot of work. Do your research before you go in. See what everybody is doing. Read the different blogs. Check it out. Like, see what's happening. And like Jessica said, like, what is the worst that could happen? Sorry, I saw a comment come in about the cat and I got excited. But yeah, the worst that could happen. And honestly, I think that the ambassador program is so huge. And I think that is the ambassador program and the workshops that are being put on is so huge. It's not just like, okay, I'm signing up, I'm doing this. It's more like, I'm learning, I'm actively learning. And that is kind of the best part of the whole organization too, I think, is that you're actively learning things that you didn't know. You could be the best advocate in the world and you meet someone else and you're learning something different. So, and I think that that's really the best part about Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania, is to always be learning and always be moving forward about certain things.
Yes, I would have to agree with that. It's
Hey,
been
Barb.
a huge learning thing. Go, Kate, what's up?
I hate to just hop in here like this, but Claire was just saying, if anybody is unsure I'm pretty sure any of us ambassadors or the current Miss Wheelchair, any of us would be willing to talk to you about like why we love it, or, you know, encourage you. Just feel free to reach out to us because we're here.
Yeah, and don't feel the need to just be like, okay, well, let me just jump in and do it. Like, all of these people are here, like, we're advocates, you're an advocate. Like, we want to talk to you. We want to find more advocates, not like, oh, join our program so we can be this, like, big girl gang, but, like, we just want to be advocates together. We want to make our community better, and that's really what we're here for. So we're here to talk.
So I never realized that I wanted to be an advocate. You know, I was fighting for a decade, you know, and advocating for myself this whole time and never really realized it. And I was like, you know, you just do what you have to do, you know, to survive in this world. And so I didn't even realize, you know, that what I was doing was advocating essentially. And I get into this and I was like, yeah, I think it'd be cool to be able to educate people about my experiences, and maybe they won't need to go through it. And I never realized that's what I wanted to do or anything like that. It was all very eye-opening to me that this is where I found, I guess, where I felt like I belonged for once in my life. I felt like where I'm where I belong. And so that was another thing that I didn't really think about going into it. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't think I have enough accomplished, or I don't think that I'm an advocate, or, you know, they think a lot of these things, but, you know, I didn't have much accomplished either. And, you know, here I am. And because of this platform, I was able to accomplish a lot more. And, you know, I think that a lot of people don't realize that what they're already doing is advocating, and they just don't really think that that's what, you know, they're doing essentially. You know what I mean? They're just living daily, and you know, just don't think that you need all these accomplishments or you need experience or anything like that. We're here to help and to teach and to help you grow, as long as you're open to learning and, you know, talking with all the ladies on this call, and, you know, more or less listening to other people that you come across in life and hear their experience. And like Claire said, you know, when you meet someone, you're like, oh wow, that's why that exists. You know, I never knew what those bump things were on the ramps going down on sidewalks until like 2 years ago. And I was like, oh wow, like my mind was just blown. And, you know, to meet people who need these things, like Claire said, is like, wow, mind blown. Now I'm gonna fight for you also. So,
and it like spreads like wildfire too. So all my able-bodied friends, I always use as like a fun trivia. I'm like, hey, do you know what those bumps are for? These different types of things are for this. Do you know what that means? And then it just does, it spreads. And then you know, your friends and family, they come behind you and they're all invested in you whenever you are a part of the program. And then they end up becoming friends with other people, like from other states. It just becomes a huge community. And I think that that's really the word, is just another community, an advocacy community instead of sisterhood. But,
if I could jump in.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Kristen, to talk about your experience and stuff too.
Yes,
so.
I was a title holder a decade ago, so it's been a little longer than Claire's journey or Barb's journey, but the reason why I got involved was one of my previous coworkers was Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania, and she lived and breathed her title holder year. So she was like, your life will change. And I myself didn't really know what I was getting into, but I was like, all right, you know, maybe I'll make a friend, maybe I'll eat a cupcake. That's a win for me. So my platform was affordable, accessible housing for all. So I had a great year because it was the 20th anniversary of the ADA. And as I've told Karli and the ambassadors, when you're working on a Hallmark anniversary, everyone comes out of the woodwork starting in June, and they all want you to be at their event in July, and you are one person and can only do one event at a time. But I would have to say that one of my favorite events was being the keynote speaker for the ADA celebration in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And the reason that is not because there was a spotlight on me, but because it gave me an opportunity to meet so many people in a different region in Pennsylvania and hear their stories. Because you never know when your story is going to be the blueprint for someone else. And I think that that's a huge part of the advocacy and the sisterhood that we all talk about. Part of what brings us together is our commonalities, but we each learn and grow from each other's stories and experiences. And I don't think that you can get that in such a unique way as you can with this particular organization and program. So for the past decade or so, I have been quietly, lovingly stalking our title holders as they win and supporting them. Like for Claire, I bought one of her fundraising t-shirts. Yay, Claire! But for Barb, I personally followed her journey about halfway through, but I didn't know her personally outside of Facebook. And then when she took over in September, I reached out to her and said, you know, I would still like to be involved with the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania organization in whatever form or function that happens now. And so I traveled to Johnstown and we met for the first time in September. And so we have only known each other for 10 months? And we are very close. We talk a lot regarding Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania stuff. And I am close to all of the ambassadors. They will tell you that they have learned so much through the different experiences. But I will tell you that I have learned and grown just as much, if not more, just from meeting them and learning about their platforms and their stories. And they are amazing women. And if you join our girl gang, as Claire said, I'm sure that you will have amazing stories, and I look forward to helping you alongside your journey. But these girls on this screen are honestly some of my very best friends.
And I think I just want to add on to what Kristen said is you can learn from us, but we want to learn from you too. Like, we want to learn from you. Like, that's what we're here for. Like, I know enough about Barb. Like, I'm fine. Like, I want to learn more about like other people in the state with disabilities or like someone else. Like, do you know what I mean? We want to learn from you because we are the disability community of women in the Commonwealth. So like, we want to get to know you, not just the other way around.
So, Vicky, she said, that we need to choose the opportunities that follow our platform and not just a photo op for them. And a lot of places want to use us as inspiration porn, and we shouldn't let them. And I have to agree with that. Like, there has been a couple things that I literally turned down because I was like, this feels too inspiration porny, you know, or I don't know, I just got a weird like vibe from it. I always go off of my vibes. And so, you know, I'm like, not for me. And, you know, it's okay to say no to things that make you feel but you know, another part of it is, you know, there are going to be photo ops and stuff, and that's just part of it, but it depends on the context of which it is too, you know. Like, I mean, when I was the title holder, I remember this little girl, you know, saw me and was like, Mommy, she's the queen, and wanted pictures and stuff with me. And, you know, like those instances, yeah, you know, when you're in Abilities Expo, yeah, you know, but like a lot of times it is a very weird territory to deal with. And you have to go within yourself and what you feel comfortable with. You know, if you don't feel comfortable, you know, with doing an event or whatever, you know, it's fine to say no to some things that you might think are an opportunity and whatnot. And if it doesn't align with your platform, or, you know, even if it's like say it's something, you know, say you come into this organization and, you know, your platform is, you know, whatever you choose it to be, but then you get an offer to go and speak, you know, about service dog fraud or something, and you're like, well, wait, I don't know, this is not my specialty. Then you would maybe reach out to a fellow ambassador and say, hey, you know, Jess, this might be an opportunity for you. Or, you know, someone says, you know, there's an event about body positivity, you know, then you reach out to Karli, you know, and we just kind of help each other in those arenas, you know, like if you hear of opportunities, you tell one another and whatnot, because let's face it, like we don't know everything about disability just because we're living it, you know, and that's why, you know, we all have our own passions and our own platforms that we care about. So, you know, don't think that you also need to know everything disability related as well to get involved with Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania. So we're here to build each other up and help one another. And that's what it's all about. And so I'm going to go into the event last year, everyone. So last year we had our first ever conference and competition. I saw that there was a comment somewhere asking, or it was maybe Claire texting, the difference between a pageant and a competition and why we, you know, changed that. So I feel like the word pageant just does not describe what we're doing. You know, we are not a pageant. We're not saying to, you know, that you're being judged on your dress or your talent or your anything like that. You're not being judged on your looks at all. At the event, the crowning event, we did offer to have cosmetologists come in and do the ladies' hair and makeup so they would feel confident and comfortable if they chose to have it done. Because I also think that when you feel and feel like you look your best and you're and whatnot, you're going to perform the best. And we don't want them, you know, to have their official portraits taken and them go, oh, I don't look good, or, you know, whatever. We want them to be as confident. And if that's, you know, we wanted to offer those services. So if anything, that was probably the most pageanty thing there. And so we ended up calling it a conference and competition, and it was a weekend long event, and the ladies endured, I should say, 10 workshops on Saturday. And I was like a drill sergeant through it, like, let's go, hop two, chop, chop, we're 2 minutes late, let's move. And I felt so bad. They were so engaging with it all and whatnot. And yes, as Vicki said, the conference and competition happened in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. For the first time, it was held there. And I realized when I was a title holder that, you know, I was able to go to all these events in Pennsylvania because I was kind of centralized. The furthest driving distance to any one point in Pennsylvania is 4 hours. And the year before, it was being held in Erie, and that was a barrier that Kate actually had issues with, because from Philly to Erie was a 7-hour drive. And it was like, that's crazy in the middle of January. So we have it in the fall. So if you need to drive to Johnstown, it's in the mountains. It's beautiful. It's a great time of year to come visit. The whole entire weekend, you know, they got the workshops. There was a lot of bonding activities and stuff. The first night, we had a spa night for them, and they got to do little facials and stuff, and you know, kind of bond with each other and laugh about the charcoal face masks and whatnot together. And then I think I'm missing some things in there. And then Saturday was like a girl talk type thing, and we had a photo booth, and there was also a lot of good snack food. We had a cereal bar, which that is going to be a staple at Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania, because Barb loves cereal and everyone liked the cereal bar idea and whatnot. So we're going to have cereal bars in the future. And then Sunday was the actual event itself, and the ladies just got escorted to the stage and gave their 2-minute platform speech on what they are passionate about. And they, you know, got off the stage, and the judges, we had 4 judges, and they also did the interview sessions on Saturday. So they were pulled out of workshops and were asked different types of interview questions throughout the day. And after that, then they were judged on their speech ability as well. And then obviously Karli ended up being crowned the winner, and Jess ended up being our first runner-up, and she also was Miss Congeniality, and everyone else got sashed as ambassadors. So, you know, this year we were planning a bunch of different events, but because of COVID, they had to be canceled. But we're hoping next year, we're planning it as if it's going to happen in 2021. We'll be able to offer a lot more fun activities, and maybe not so much drill instructor workshops all in a row, 10 in a row. That was a little bit of a marathon for them all. So I'm going to go ahead around and, you know, maybe they can talk about their personal experience, you know, at the conference and competition. Now, keep in mind, this is my first time ever hosting any kind of event like this. So I had no idea what I was really doing, and I tried the best that I could with what I was given. And I will start with Karli since she's the title holder. So
I think that for me, the conference and competition weekend was really a good experience in regards to learning how to be an independent wheelchair user for myself. So not only was I participating in all these educational workshops that I was, you know, learning about organizations such as Unite Spinal and the Cerebral Palsy organization and things like that, and, you know, adaptive workouts, but I was also learning how to do things like watching other wheelchair users open doors for themselves, which I hadn't been able to do at all before the conference and competition. How to like carry something in one hand and wheel with the other, and like how to, you know, just exist as a wheelchair user independently, and like asking for help when I need it from people that are not, you know, my people that I always rely on. I also really liked that the opportunity was there to get comfortable, you know, the night before we started as a group, and we weren't just like thrown into, you know, questions and like speeches and crowning ceremonies like the day we got there. It gave us the opportunity to like learn more about each other than just our platform, learn some about our life experiences, our likes and dislikes. I know Amanda and I bonded about our love of like squishy stuffed animals and things like that, and what it's like to be chronically ill wheelchair users. And I learned like a lot of things from Jess about, you know, having a service dog, because I have a service dog in training. You know, she had some tips and tricks, and things like that. And also it was really nice to see, you know, people like Kate and Megan who are out, and even Kristen out in the workforce, in a way that I have not yet I've not been able to like break into the workforce yet, as I was still, you know, in school when the conference and competition happened. But like just to get that knowledge of like, there are people in wheelchairs who are like doing things that I want to do, and so these things are achievable. Like I just have to, you know, watch, learn, and then apply those things. So
yes, that is definitely a big take home that I also learned, Karli, for myself as well. The next one on the screen is Jessica. So Jessica, don't forget to mute yourself or unmute yourself.
There we go. So one of my favorite parts about the conference competition was the workshops. I learned so much, particularly Claire's workshop about disability history. I'm going to show my ignorance here, but I didn't know who Justin Dart was. I didn't know who Ed Roberts was. I didn't know about the 504. And that was the first time that I heard about these things. So I really liked that. And then I really liked, you know, we had a media workshop and how to interact with, you know, news anchors and give interviews and all that stuff. I loved everything. Plus, Barb was flowing us with a lot of our swag bag, and it was cool. I just loved every minute of it.
I want to thank our sponsors for those swag bags and for the event itself. You know, UPMC Community Health Choices was our diamond sponsor. I think that's right. And then Laurel Medical Solutions and United Cerebral Palsy, Unlimited Care Providers. I'm looking at D&GG Advertising, Code Forge. I think I got, we had a couple other smaller, you know, from Rezic and Slovenia Savings and Loans, Brant Driving School, Sporty's Locksmith, Jesco in Wimber, 14th on Graham Bakery, Martellus Pharmacy. So it was because of all of our generous sponsors that they were able to have those awesome swag bags and eat very well that weekend. So Megan, would you like to say your favorite parts from the experience and you know, your takeaways?
So I'd say that my favorite part was getting to meet all the ladies. I think that I'm not the only one who would say that having a disability can be isolating. And so I think that it was really important to, you know, have the opportunity to be around other women who have similar mindsets. So I would say that was my favorite part.
Thank you, Megan. Kate?
Yeah, so I'm going to echo kind of what Megan said. You know, just meeting a bunch of ladies with disabilities is really great. Like I said, I'm an athlete. I play on a men's team, so I'm usually surrounded a lot of men in wheelchairs. And it's nice to have, you know, a group of ladies who have, you know, some of the same interests as you and are interested in disability rights, so we can work together. And yeah, go McGee. The other thing I would say is just all the workshops were great. You know, I'm the director of a Center for Independent Living, and I actually started that role around the time I did the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania competition. So I was brand new, but it was really helpful for me because I learned a lot of professional skills, like public speaking and representing an organization and fundraising. And even the workshop on, I think it was community health choices with the MCOs, that was a really great workshop. And Claire's was really good too, because it taught me, you know, it reiterated what my SIL is all about with the disability rights. And so I would just say, you know, using the skills that I learned that weekend, which were so many because we were jam-packed with so many things, you know, it's something that I can take with me professionally, and just strengthening those skills. Like I said, the public speaking, being on camera, using a microphone, you know, those types of things I've not really done too much in the past. So it was really just a great learning experience.
Thanks, Kate. And Amanda?
I would say, since it was honestly the first time I've ever been in a room with more than one other wheelchair user, I think my favorite moment was when we kind of just sat around playing a card game and we were telling funny stories and goofing off. And it was like, for one of the first times, I felt completely and fully understood. And that was really cool and life-changing. And as somebody who wants to be a public speaker as my full-time career eventually, it really shaped me a lot. And like they were saying before, I now have other things that I know that I didn't know before that I can also advocate for. Advocate for.
Thanks, Amanda. So Claire, is there any questions coming through on Facebook or anywhere at all?
There actually is not right now.
Anyone who's watching, go ahead and, ask any questions you may have. So I actually have some pictures that I could maybe do a screen share and we can go through. Hopefully I can figure out how to do that effectively and it's not too confusing of that weekend because
Can I interrupt real quick, because I was shocked, like how cool. Kristen, can you talk a little bit about the different workshops that you do, like that you've done each month? Because whenever you told me that the other day, I was like, wait a second, can I get in on this? Like, can past title holders come?
Sure. Like I believe Kate said during one of her speaking times here, she said that we have them almost monthly. And one of the first workshops we did is we had a previous title holder speak to the ambassadors about tips and tricks when approaching your legislators about legislation that you would like to be passed that would benefit Pennsylvanians with disabilities within the Commonwealth. In December, we didn't have a workshop because of the holiday. In January, we had a public speaking professor speak to the girls about how to structure speeches and to tailor it to your particular audience, whether that's a Girl Scout troop, whether it's a kindergarten class, whether it's a real estate association. In February, they were stuck with me, and we spoke about fundraising and sponsorships, because even though there's not a national competition this year, sadly, typically the title holder is responsible for fundraising and attending the National Miss Wheelchair America competition, which typically runs about a week long in late July or early to mid-August. In March, we just had a quarantine kind of check-in to make sure how everyone was doing, how the pandemic was affecting each of our ambassadors personally, and just kind of having a sisterhood moment. In April, I think we took a break just because there was a lot going on with concerns. And then in May, we spoke with Judy Human, which was huge. In June, we had planned to speak with a previous Miss Wheelchair America to kind of give them an idea about what to expect when they reach that national competition level, and some of the tips and skills that are most helpful. For July, of course, we are attending Disability Pride workshops because there's such a wealth of topics and information that we can all gain. Some that speak directly to people's platforms, and because of varied schedules with school, employment, and things like that, we're just leaving it as a you kind of choose sort of thing. Moving forward, we hope to have a workshop with Tech Al about how to make your blog posts and things more accessible, as that was a workshop provided by Disability Pride, and I attended it and got so much information. And then again, with scheduling, I thought, well, not all of our ambassadors can be on board, so I reached out to Tech Al, and I'm in the process of waiting to hear back from them. But I am always open to suggestions from previous title holders and also the ambassadors about skills and knowledge that they would like to have, because it is all about your year.
So I see a question on here about, is there a fee to participate? So this year, to become an ambassador, that we will probably be having, I'm pretty sure we voted on it, did we, Kristen? I forget. I think we agreed upon it as a board. It's $150 and participation fee in general. Now, the current ambassadors on the call will get half price then, but you will get a sash that is similar to the ones they're wearing, and you will also get a goodie bag of stuff from our sponsors and probably a bunch of other stuff that I'm going to see that you guys have to have along the way. And so that is another thing that we also talked about, is that this year, since we are now a nonprofit 501c3, you guys can, if you want to get involved and you don't have that $150, you can fundraise using this or getting a sponsor or whatever to have you get involved. And so that is a new thing that we are offering this year, that you can use our nonprofit status to help gain a sponsor or sponsors to get and be involved. So the participation fee would be $150 for anyone new, everyone on the call $75. There's another question here, is what fear have you overcome since joining the competition? Go ahead, I'll start with Jessica, since you're the first on the screen. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
I would say public speaking.
Megan?
I would say not necessarily a fear, but just the realization that my concerns as someone with a disability actually do matter, and speaking up about them.
Amanda?
For me, it would basically be the same as Megan, that learning to self-advocate, and I was always afraid to speak up when something bothered me, or how to speak out when nobody expects me to. It's something I've learned how to do, and it's really helpful.
Karli?
Sorry, my cursor was all the way across the screen. I would say that I've definitely overcome the fear of asking for what I need for things to be accessible, and asking for things that my friends might need, like have access needs. I was always really hesitant to like ask people to move chairs out of the way, because I didn't want to feel like a burden on my friends or family or anything. But now I'm just like, oh, can you move this? Like, my friend's wheelchair won't fit, my wheelchair won't fit, can you put the captions on or something like that? So.
Kate?
Yes, I would definitely say public speaking. I've been in the disability community a long time. I've gone to a lot of events, but using my voice and having like the spotlight on me is something that's really new. And so just overcoming that and, my speaking skills.
Go ahead, Claire. See that you have a question there.
Need something to say, of course. Yeah, so there's a question in the chat. How is Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania as an organization opening the competition to Black women and to older women?
So how are we? I mean, yeah. I am open to all the suggestions in the world of how I can network with either of those communities. I am, trying my best to reach out, given that I am in rural Pennsylvania, to the best of my ability. And, I am social media marketing pretty much and whatnot. So if anyone has any suggestions on how I can reach those communities, that would be incredible. And I'm very open to it.
And I think that even just like other people sharing it, you know what I mean? Like there's so many people that I know that you don't know, Barb, or that vice versa, or other people on the call, just the widespread reaching. So the bigger that we build the organization, the wider, the more people we reach.
Yeah, and
the
I
more
think
we learn.
I think the more people who know what we're about and that we're not a pageant either is opening it up, because a lot of times I've heard, you know, whenever I was the director of recruitment for Miss Wheelchair America, I would reach out to older females and they would be like, "Oh, I'm too old for a pageant." And I'm like, no. Last year, at the competition, one of the people that were in the top 5 was a 70-year-old woman, you know, and so that it's open to all women with, you know, physical disabilities who use a wheelchair full-time in public, and it's inclusive for, you know, any backgrounds. And, you know, again, if anyone has any suggestions to help me, I would be, you know, super interested in learning how I can network better and reach those communities. Do you have any other questions coming in, Claire?
Nope, but in the chat, there's some people who are interested. So do you want to give real quick a plug? If they like the Facebook page, would that be the best way to do it? And then another question did just come in. Do you want to give the plug and ask the question?
Okay, so anyone who is interested in applying, go ahead and like our Facebook page, send us a message on there. So we know that you're interested, you know, just a DM. And then when the application becomes available, we can send it out to you. Applications will be open for, I think, around 2 months or so. So, you know, the event is not, the virtual event's not happening till October. So, you know, you guys got some time to come up with $150 or fundraise it or find sponsors if that's what you need to be able to participate. And so, yeah, just go ahead and reach out to us.
So there's a question in the chat here that says, are you able to accommodate folks with intellectual disabilities or developmental disabilities?
You know, that is a really excellent question. And, you know, I would love to hear, you know, I would love to learn more of how we can accommodate. I would be open to, you know, learning what is the best way to accommodate with folks that have intellectual and developmental disabilities.
Karli?
Can I just add that we have seen it is possible though, Barb, because there were folks participating in Miss Wheelchair New Jersey that had different types of disabilities that required communication devices or extra assistance communicating their platform and things like that. So I think that that's a great example to set for how Pennsylvania can also accommodate those needs.
Yes.
And a lot of the time we also have, you know, a great support system behind us. I'm not just like a title holder, you know, throwing around activities willy-nilly. There's always people there to guide, you know, me. And so a person with an intellectual or developmental disability might need a little extra guidance, but that guidance is already in place.
Yes. So anything, like I said, if there's any kind of accommodations or anything that, you know, we can do better, please tell us. That's what we're trying to learn. I mean, I am new. I haven't even been, you know, in charge of this program for a year yet. So it's been the biggest year of learning ever. And I'm open to hearing suggestions and helping to make things inclusive and better. And I did see that Karli did say it's open to all wheelchair users who identify as women as well. So that is something that I would like to say as well. It is open to to folks who identify as women.
There was a really great tip in here, and I think that we've talked about this a little bit, so about just different ideas for workshops and things like that. But Janice said, because you all are community advocates and leaders, I think a workshop on discrimination and the isms such as racism, sexism, ableism would be very important knowledge. I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that.
Thank you, Janice. And I definitely appreciate you putting it out there, and we would love to have you. She was actually one of the workshop presenters we were supposed to have this summer, and you know, things didn't follow through, because a couple of ambassadors were sick and whatnot. So I am
Also, if I could,
I'm trying to
it's
read
kind
everything.
of a silly, weird topic.
You're cutting out, Amanda. Uh-oh.
People on how to properly speak to a manager and get your message heard in a respectful manner would be very helpful. Because recently I've had to speak to 2 managers, and as soon as you ask to speak to a manager, you get that very obvious eye roll. And so something like that is something just I figured I would put out there before I completely forget, because everybody on this call knows that I have a one-way memory.
It's okay, Amanda. We love you. So does anyone else here have anything to add? We have 20 minutes remaining of our allotted time. So is there any more questions? Anything anyone here wants to add? Go ahead.
Oh, Jess, you can go first.
I was just going to say to anybody that's thinking about, joining us in the ambassador program, even if you just come for the community and to learn, the monthly workshops are amazing. I've learned so much, and just that in itself is worth everything. Kristen does an awesome job with that. So
Go ahead, Karli.
What I was going to add is before, when you were talking about not participating in activities that you felt like were uncomfortable or sketchy, at the same time, so don't do those things that make you uncomfortable, but at the same time, don't hesitate to do things that you feel might be out of your comfort zone in a positive way. I did not at all think I was qualified to talk to elementary school and high school and middle school teachers at that in-service day. I was like, I am way out of my comfort zone. What am I even going to say to these teachers? And it turned out to be a really great experience, because not only was I able to be more conscious about the audience that I was speaking to, but I was able to be more conscious about how the audience could learn to apply these things to their next audience, rather than just kind of telling my story and that being done with it.
And I think that is, a big piece of what I think this organization is about, is the education. We're not there just to, be a figurehead. I think someone labeled it before. We're there to educate, and with the platform, people, hear about it and invite Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania to come and speak at their in-services. And, most of the things I've done now, I'm like, I'm not qualified for this either. I mean, I remember when Claire passed off a keynote speech for a college in my region to do, and I'm like, I never finished college. Why am I qualified to do it? And I actually based my speech off of that alone. Was like, I talked about, how I didn't feel like I was qualified, but ultimately that they're not looking for someone who has a degree. They're looking for someone to deliver a message about life to these graduates and to educate them on that. So, it's really weird and surreal sometimes when you get into this platform, because I feel like, I'm like, most of the days I'm like, I feel like an idiot. What am I, like, why am I here? Like, but obviously, everyone is seeing something in me and all these ladies on this screen that we may not see in ourselves at the time. And, it's important to educate with the platform we have been given, and the heart and passion and drive we have behind our platforms and our education we've learned along the way. So
there was another question that came in. It said, are the monthly workshops by invite? And if so, how does someone get invited?
I'll leave that one for Kristen to answer.
No, they're not by invite. They are at this point strictly for the participants of the ambassador program, and also I don't know how we would open up that invitation. I'm sorry that I have a dumb look on my face, but I'm trying to think on the fly.
Well, hold on, back up. Sorry to interrupt, but I think that maybe some people are coming in and out because the numbers on the Facebook Live keep dropping in and out. So do you want to reiterate real quick, just like what the ambassador program is?
I sure do, my friend Claire. So the ambassador program is title holders in training, because we as previous title holders to 2020 were talking regarding the restructuring of the program and kind of under Barb's leadership, where we saw things could evolve. And we were talking that while there can only be one winner, all the women have platforms that are important to people with disabilities across the Commonwealth. And they all have passion, drive, and motivation. So we wanted to provide an opportunity for them to be able to share those platforms through education and also appearances and speaking engagement. So what we're talking about as far as the monthly workshops are that they are skills and knowledge that we collectively feel as previous title holders are important to have to make you a successful title holder. Because typically, whether you're new to your advocacy journey or you're a seasoned advocate, but everyone can learn and grow as we go along. So we provide those learning opportunities so that there's a more complete advocacy grab bag to kind of draw from, depending on what experience you're currently in.
And just one more, oh, sorry, go ahead.
The most recent question was, are the workshops open to other participants? And the answer to that is, as of right now, no. Typically, they are open to the current ambassadors, because we are trying to build them as future title holders, if that is their wish.
And
I hope that answered that question for you, April. But so you'll be opening, Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania will be opening up applications for ambassadors in, you said, a few months, and then in October is whenever you'll start.
Ambassador application will actually be out in next week, hopefully. And
how does someone get that?
It will be available on the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania Facebook page, and also I'm sure Vicki will be able to share on the Disability Pride page as well. And it will also be available on our newly launched website. If someone wants to put the website in the chat, or I can once I'm done talking, for everyone to go to as well. And so, yeah, also, I also want to throw it out there that anyone watching this, the current title holder, Karli, is available for speaking engagements, for, webinars, for anything. And her platform is body positivity. So, she is free of charge, if you will. You don't need to pay for her to speak at your event or anything. So please, you can reach out to her. You can reach out to the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania Facebook page. She also has her own title holder page, which is Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania 2020 Karli Miller. And you can go ahead, give that page a like. And she does weekly postings about what she's doing, what she's learning, because as a title holder, it's a learning role. You're learning this whole year, and so she's kind of documenting her journey of what she has learned and the events she's done and things like that. And so we want people to look back and see, oh, wow, this is the progression of what she has done and where she's come. And this stuff will eventually be on the website, as well as we start adding more to our website, because it's in the infancy stage yet. But at least the website's up. So please reach out to her about anything. I'll go ahead and let her plug herself a little bit about that as well.
Barb is selling me for free. No, I'm kidding. But yes, I am available for events that require public speaking. I have my master's degree in communication studies, and I'd be happy to talk about both my platform as well as my experiences navigating like higher education as a person with a disability, navigating being chronically ill as a fat person with a disability, because that relates very closely to body positivity, and to talk about just my experiences with the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania program as well.
And as Vicki said, donations help. So, you know, if you have an event and Karli, you know, feels comfortable, she can travel as well, depending on the if she feels comfortable. We're not, you know, forcing anyone to, but we are a nonprofit organization that works off of donations. And so, you know, donations can help you know, our title holder as well with expenses she has and whatnot as a title holder and traveling and stuff. And so right now things are on a standstill, but I do know that, you know, some places might be doing something, and perhaps if she feels comfortable and, you know, it aligns. Are you still doing that fashion show, Karli? Did you want to plug that?
Sure. As of right now, it's still an in-person event, although the rules with Philly have just changed, so I'm not sure how that will affect the event. But the event is called the Dreamwalk Fashion Show, and it's a body positive event that was started in response to the limits that Victoria's Secret puts on their angel models for size, ability, the way they look, etc. The confines are very strict, and these two women started this alternative fashion show, and it kind of became a place where folks of all different backgrounds, abilities, intersectional identities can come together to participate in like a fashion show type setting. So there is like a catwalk, but there's also like a group team building exercise. There are multiple models with disabilities, multiple models of a variety of different races, there are different like survivor statuses. There's a special section for like cancer survivors, things like that. They also do online workshops, and I believe that they're on YouTube, and you can watch previous folks with disabilities who have participated and how it's expanded their advocacy. So yeah, that will be in September, hopefully in Philly. And there's a small fee to attend, but you get like all kinds of like fun stuff. And it's basically the complete opposite of what the Victoria's Secret fashion show is, like as inclusive as possible to show how fashion shouldn't be controlled by boundaries like such as being a wheelchair user or things like that. And I'm very excited because it really goes tightly with my platform about body positivity.
So again, you know, anyone who wants to have her speak at any kind of support groups or anything virtually, please just reach out, like I said, onto her Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania Facebook page or the normal Miss Wheelchair, I guess her title holder page, or the Miss Wheelchair Pennsylvania Facebook page. It kind of got confusing there. You know, and as it goes with all the ladies here, you know, the ambassadors are also, you know, available for, you know, going to events or speaking at anything virtually, you know, based on their platforms as well. And, you know, their proximity to you. Everyone is spread out across the state of Pennsylvania. Jessica's in Johnstown, and Megan is in Hershey, and Kate is in Philly, and Amanda is kind of close to Johnstown, Evansburg area, and Karli's in Allentown, and Claire is in Pittsburgh, and Kristen is in Greensburg right now, and I'm near Johnstown as well. So, you know, reach out to anyone, and we are available to help however we can, and we are here as educators, and we are excited at the future of this organization, and we want to grow it with you. We want to grow it as a unit together. This organization is growing, and it's super exciting to grow it with the ambassador program, and now with the junior ambassador program. And the junior ambassador program, as Claire said, is really going to mimic the ambassador program, but for younger girls, and promote more bonding activities and stuff. So I tell the ladies all on this call, anytime you guys have any suggestions, please let us know how we can improve or what we can add. They've all given me tons of suggestions on how to make the event that would have happened in person better. So, now we're figuring out this new landscape of virtual events. So, I'm trying my best, and I'm always open to learning and making suggestions. So,
The purpose of covering all our bases is the junior ambassador program fee, the same fee that people will pay to be adult ambassadors?
So no, it will be a different fee. I think, is that what we agreed on, or did we not agree upon it? I forget. Claire, I forget, or Kristen, you and I usually was it the same?
I can't recall. It's just the cost of the sash. I can't recall.
I think it was just the cost of the sash for the junior ambassadors.
I think
but we did vote upon the adult ambassador fee.
Yeah, I want to say that it was the $75 fee for the junior ambassador program, if I'm not mistaken, because that's the cost of the sash and the shipping and all that stuff. So, but that is the fee for it, and that will be also available the same time the other applications are available. And again, to keep up with everything, it'll all be on our Facebook page as we go forth and figure out the event that we're going to do in October and figure out the landscape of it. It's been a learning experience, as I'm sure Vicky can say, doing this all virtually, and she's doing a phenomenal job. Does anyone else have anything before we wrap this up that they want to add? Any questions coming in at the last minute? And Karli's snuggling with her cat, and I have my cat here too, that he's like trying to get food and have me feed him. He's like all hungry. So
I just wanted to say, because it's July and it's just Disability Pride Month, we have come a long way in the last 30 years that the ADA was passed, but we still have a long way to go. And I just think that this is a really great opportunity for women to get involved in this program, because I feel like in the disability community, everybody has a place and everyone has their own thing that they can add to help, people with disabilities. And I would look at this as a great way to get involved and to help the movement. And you're only going to gain things from this experience. You're not going to lose anything. So that's all I wanted to say. But thanks.
Thanks, Kate. And she is right. Go ahead, Amanda. I see you just raise your hand.
I just want to reiterate that if anybody has any questions for us personally, to reach out, we'd be willing to, talk to you and let you know our experiences to help you understand if this is something you want to do. And I'm pretty sure all of us can agree that this is 100% a life-changing experience any way you look at it, and it's only positive.
Yeah, is there any way that we can put our Facebook out there, so if people have questions, they could message us about it, or I don't know.
Yeah, is there can you, I don't know, Vicky, can we put that in the chat here, or I don't know how?
You can put it in chat, but you can also, if you send me an email with everybody's stuff in it, what I'll do is I'll put it up on our Facebook page and also on our website.
Okay. Yeah, we can, I think it's, the ambassadors all have their own private pages. So, I guess, how about you ladies send I guess me or Vicky, whatever information you want to put out there for people to contact you that you're comfortable with, and she can post that.
Yes, and also that information will also go up. Remember, we are recording, so at the end of this, what we are going to be doing is we have to take this, we have to upload it to YouTube, then we have to recaption it, which is a lot of fun. And then once that is done, this will actually air or premiere again sometime in the next few weeks for people to see. And if I get all of your information, what I will do is I will also add that into the YouTube information underneath this event.
Okay.
So we can continue, because of course I want you guys to be able to get bigger and stronger. I agree with Kate. This is the 30th anniversary of the ADA. You know, one of the things we've been trying to focus on during our 30 days of events is trying to get the younger generations more involved in what is going on, and knowing that they do have a place here in the disability community and in the fight, and that there are still things to fight for. You know, that we are still fighting for things that we were supposed to have 30 years ago. But we also need to take into account all the young voices here and what they believe they need, because that could be different from somebody my age, and just how all of that works. Everybody has a voice. We've had all kinds of great conversations about joining ADAPT, joining Disabled in Action, which is the PA ADAPT, joining TASH, which was today, which was amazing conversation. And then also now we want our women to join the Miss Wheelchair PA program, because that is another way for you to have a voice, and every voice is important. And just say it loud and proud. We are disabled. So thank you all for doing this.
Thank you so much, Vicki, for giving us this platform and this opportunity to do this as well. You know, I'm very grateful for our partnership with, you know, both organizations, and I can only see it growing and becoming better for everyone and all people with disabilities in the state of Pennsylvania. So I'm excited to be your partner here.
Thank you. And I am going to reach out to all of you, and we have decided, so we now have this new YouTube channel that is actually has been getting so many subscribers. It's insane. But we have decided that in September we are going to start doing regular weekly programming, kind of like this, that'll go on YouTube and Facebook, and we're going to make sure that we include all of you in those things that we're doing.
We appreciate that, and the ladies definitely are appreciative of those opportunities as well. So you know, and in October, you know, more ladies hopefully will be involved with our organization as well. And you know, I have a feeling I'll be calling you to see how best we can do our event in October as well, to make it effective and give all these ladies the platform they deserve as they come into this organization.
Yes, I already told Kristen that I was willing to help.
Awesome. We appreciate your help, and I know I will hush up and give the ladies one last time to say their piece and any thank yous and pleasantries before we sign off here. So we'll start with Megan. She's at the top. Go ahead. You need to unmute yourself.
What was the question?
I said that I'm going to give you guys one last time to say anything you want to say, any pleasantries, any thank yous, all that stuff.
Oh, I just wanted to, anybody that's watching, I just want to encourage you to join the program. When I started, it was kind of an off the cuff thing. And I'm super glad that I did it.
Thank you, Megan. Amanda?
I just like to say that in all this corona times that we're living in right now, things are really scary and things are complicated, but you're not alone. The disability community is still here and we stand with you. Like we've all said, reach out to us. And I personally want to thank you, Barb, and all of the other ladies that your names all disappeared. But just thank you all for making this happen because this was a really good time.
Thank you, Amanda. I'm glad that you were able to make it today. Karli?
Thank you, Barb and Claire and Kristen and Vicky and awesome interpreters. And of course, my lovely ambassador friends. I really appreciate that you were here being a part of this with me because I have been, stuck in the house and I live for social interaction. And to anybody wondering, like we said, if they want to join the program or not, feel free to reach out via my Facebook page. I'll also share my email with Vicky so people can contact me on a more private platform if they wish to do so. And thank you.
Thank you, Karli. Kate?
Yeah, I kind of said my piece a little bit, but I really strongly encourage anyone who's watching that is a woman or a young woman to definitely look into this program. Vicky, you just do a great Disability Pride Week, and I really appreciate you shining light on this program. And thank you to Barb, Kristen, and Claire for always being there for us and opening doors for great opportunities like this. It's been really fun to just think about, it feels so long ago when we went to the competition, but just thinking about those great memories that we've made and reflecting on the experience has been really, really nice.
Thank you, Kate. Jessica?
Well, first of all, I would thank you, Vicky, for having us, for giving us this opportunity to reach out to the girls across Pennsylvania, ladies across Pennsylvania. You have done an amazing job reiterating what the other girls said with Disability Pride. Philadelphia, I've been loving the events. Thank you, again, Barb, Kristen, and Claire. You guys are amazing. You guys are part of the reason why I love this program. Check out our website, reach out. Once again, what do you have to lose?
Thank you, Jessica. And we will wrap it up from here. I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching this. Thank you, Vicky, once more. And I want to thank, my co-coordinator, Kristen, for being, my rock along these last couple of months of navigating this new role in leadership for me. And all these women, they give me more than I give them. I feel like, I've learned and grown so much, and I appreciate them all so much. And, randomly they'll say something nice to me and then they make me cry and realize why I'm doing this. Cause sometimes I'm like, why am I even doing this? And, they give me life. And so I want to thank all you ladies for that as well. I need you every bit as much as you need me. So thank you all again. And I look forward to anyone who's watching this who wants to become part of this program and working with you and learning from you. And I'm sure all the ladies here are excited to meet you as well. So thank you again, and we will be in touch.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for another really exciting night of Disability Pride Virtual PA. And just remember, get onto our website, check out our calendar. We still have almost 14 days worth of events going on.
You are nuts, Vicky. It's so crazy. I don't know how you do it, and I give you all the props in the world. You are a beast, as you called me earlier.
Yes. Remember that Galen Lee and the Velvet Crayon are on tomorrow night, back to back, so don't miss them. Talk to you later. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.